you. Next is James Carver for the FDD.
Thank you, Chairman. Your Excellency, welcome. It's great to be hearing from you. And I've got to say, Chair, this is a fantastic format. I think it actually brings far more into the meeting where, you know, the Speaker is actually replying directly to the question there. And I really think I'm sure colleagues will agree, it's helped the meeting flow well. First of all, I'm going to speak with my own UK pro-Brexit approach and just say how it's important to recognise a close UK-Jordanian relationship. And I say that with mind to what Gilles de Kerchove, the EU counter-terrorism coordinator, said to me at an earlier meeting when he admitted that, you know, the European Union very much does rely on the Five Eyes initiative, and I hope that will continue after my country leaves the European Union, as I hope that our countries continue to have strong bilateral security relations. So I think that is so important. But moving on to the wider areas with the region, could you comment on the split in the GCC? We haven't really heard you say much about that today, and what effect this has had on Jordan and indeed the wider Middle East. And I wonder if you could comment on yesterday's remarks of Richard Clarke, President Clinton's National Security Council advisor, when he suggested that Qatar harbours terrorists and even went as far as to say that they supported Khalid Mohammed ahead of the 9/11 attack in New York. As your country is on the front line, do you have a view on Qatari complicity in support of extremism? I think with a mind to destabilising attacks on the Egyptian security forces in northern Sinai, I think over 23 Egyptian soldiers lost their lives. Do you know where the insurgents were based, and what is the threat from the Muslim Brotherhood in the wider region? And finally, changing tack, I want to ask, does the constant anti-Israeli rhetoric that emanates from some quarters of the European Parliament further exacerbate problems over better relationships between Middle Eastern countries and Israel? Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, sir. Let me speak for Jordan. As far as Jordan is concerned, we are committed to creating a regional environment in which everybody will be cooperating on countering the terrorist challenge. Terrorism is a threat to all of us, and we'll continue to work with everybody to make sure that we respond to that challenge. I don't want to comment on the GCC crisis beyond saying that we hope that the GCC will be able to address that crisis within its own structure. The GCC is a very solid foundation. And we really hope that they will be able to address that problem within the GCC structure. In that sense, we extremely support and extremely value the mediation efforts led by His Highness the Emir of Kuwait. Kuwait is exerting tremendous efforts to be able to resolve that crisis, and Kuwait is a country that has tremendous credibility and enjoys tremendous respect in the region and beyond. We throw our weight behind Kuwait in its effort to resolve that conflict. The GCC is key to the stability of the region, and we hope they'll be able to resolve that crisis. And resolve that crisis on grounds that would ensure all of us in the region work together towards building a better future for our peoples, a future that they deserve, and on clear terms that would make clear what everybody's responsibilities is in terms of addressing the terrorist challenge and doing and complying with international laws and regulations, and as far as addressing the terrorist challenge is concerned. On Israel, sir, again, I said it before, and Jordan's credibility, Jordan's position in its pursuit of peace is clear to all. We've always pursued peace. We've always pursued a resolution to the Arab-Israeli conflict and to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. We know what needs to be done to get that conflict resolved. It's not a question of who says what, it's a question of who does what. On the ground, there's an occupation. That occupation has to end. And on the ground, there is an Israeli state, and that Israeli state is there, and we have peaceful a peaceful treaty with it. What needs to happen is for all of us, to work together on pushing towards a solution, again, on the basis of the two-state solution that would allow for the emergence of an independent Palestinian state that would live side by side a secure, unaccepted Israel. That is the only formula for the future. That is the only way through which we can create a Middle East where everybody will cooperate on creating opportunities for our people and ensuring security for all our peoples, Palestinians, Israelis, Jordanians, Egyptians, everybody alike. That's what we need to do, and that's what we need to focus on. And that's what I hope we'll be seeing a new momentum emerging right now, because despair, the lack of political horizon is something that is a threat to all of us. It is on the environment of despair that radicalization thrives. We all can mitigate against terrorist threat coming across our border. But I think the biggest challenge for all of us is about homegrown radicalization. And homegrown radicalization can only happen when people do not have political horizons, social horizons, or economic horizon. That is something that we worry is developing very, very strongly in the West Bank and Gaza. We used to complain in the past that there was a lot of process and no results in efforts to resolve the conflict. Unfortunately, lately we have no results and we have no process. Something has to give. We have to address that situation. And again, the way to do that is to engage in serious negotiations geared towards resolving that conflict on the basis of the two-state solution.